Thank you for joining us. So I'm Yas Naoi from Docomo Innovations. So today I will be discussing the topic of automate, integrate, innovate, AI-powered GitLab CI for Drupal module development to realize an efficient code review process using generative AI. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Yas. I'm a chief architect of cloud, working at Docomo Innovations in Sunnyvale, California, which is Silicon Valley office of entity Docomo. So Docomo is the largest mobile operator in Japan. Almost half of population of the Japanese people are using the Docomo's smartphones, such as iPhone and Android. So my expertise is cloud, DevOps, and agile software development. I'm leading a cloud project in Docomo in Silicon Valley. I've been involved in Drupal community for 20 years. So let me introduce the background of this session. So cloud orchestrator. So this is what we are developing in Docomo. So we have built a cloud orchestrator as an open source project based on Drupal. So you can search Drupal cloud orchestrator, that are keywords. So this is one-stop portal which is capable to manage multiple clouds such as AWS, Kubernetes, OpenStack, VMware, and Terraform. So we have been engaged in development of cloud orchestrator as a Docomo Make portal for Docomo's public cloud service. So this is today's agenda. So the goal of today's session is two main objectives. The first, to introduce how generative AI, that is, ChatGPT, can be utilized in the development of the cloud orchestrator, open source project that I'm leading, and to provide examples for our development work. So specifically, I will discuss several examples of how ChatGPT can be applied to code review. The second goal is to share case study where ChatGPT has been integrated into the GitLab CI pipeline as an automated code reviewer. So the first portion is based on our manual experience using ChatGPT, and the second portion is discussed for CI pipeline automation. So in our cloud orchestrator development project, so we are establishing a development process. So let me talk about our development process to understand how we put generative AI together into our development process. You can see the world map because we have team members globally. First, we have online conference by using the Microsoft Teams. In the meeting, we discuss the sprint backlog by using a Jira software. So during the sprint planning meeting, we assign each Jira ticket to each team member. So one ticket will be assigned one person. That's a rule for our project. That's a very simple. And after finishing the sprint planning, we can start to develop. So we are using a Slack to communicate each other during the development. And once our team's member finishes one Jira ticket, we create an issue queue at Drupal.org, as you know. So when we create an issue queue at Drupal.org, the issue starts active status and change to needs work during the implementation while before we upload a patch and create the module request. And change the status to needs review, as you know, when the implementation is completed and it is ready. And then when the status is changed to needs review, it triggers the automated testing at Drupal.org. So if all test cases are passed through the automated testing at Drupal.org, we start to review the merge request. And the merge request looks good. Then we change the status to reviewed and tested by the community. This is all the official process in the Drupal community. Then we merge the merge request for the patch to our main Git branch, and we change the status to fixed. After 2 weeks, we have the sprint review meeting again, and also have the sprint planning meeting again at the same time. That's how it works in our development process at the cycle during our sprint. So when I think about how we can ChatGPT, generative AI, into our development process, the first thing that came to my mind was integrating ChatGPT into code reviews. So by the way, what exactly is the code review? To help you get better understanding of code review, I will introduce some methodologies. As for methods of code review, as you can see, code reviews can involve static analysis such as lint, coding standards, best practices, and security scans. So all of which can be checked using tools. In our project, we have already integrated these tools into our CI pipeline as automated tests and have been practicing with them already. So recently, AI-powered analysis tools such as AWS Code Group Reviewer Profiler have become available too. So static analysis checks already written existing code, but using generative AI during the implementation phase can help you write code from scratch with tools like GitHub Copilot. For AWS, you might use Code Whisperer. So using these services, I believe it's possible to achieve AI-assisted pair programming. But essentially, there are two scenarios. So writing new code from scratch and improving or rewriting existing code. So two cases, from scratch or change or refactor the code. Two use cases. So what has been a hot topic lately in the part about writing new code from scratch, right? However, the focus of this code review in this session will be on improving existing code. So let's separate from scratch new code, but against the refactoring based on the existing code. So this time, the initiative will not use generative AI to write code from zero, but to revise and enhance existing code, which we call refactoring. So I myself have reviewed code in over 3,000 merge requests so far. So because as software development scales and the code bases expands, there arises a necessity for uniformity and consistency. So code review is very important to keep the code quality. So what I carry in my mind is indeed documented and communicated to my team members with the code review policy as shown in the slide. But I feel that it is similar to the role of director who makes a movie, for example. The code written by each engineer corresponding to individual scenes in the movie, and I see it as my task to unify these into a well-integrated final product. So during code reviews, one key focus is to start by checking hard coded values among various other policies we add here too. So it is true that the tools for static analysis can detect hard-coded instances. However, it's still possible for some to slip through the cracks with the hard-coded portion, for example. Additionally, as part of our company's security policy, it's essential to record every user action, like CRUD, as you know, the creating, reading, updating, and deleting data. That's a rule of our company's policy to record every single action like a CRUD. So that is, they are also included in our company's security policy consideration in this policy. This is a manual process and documented already. So the challenge is, we want to replace human code reviews with ChatGPT. So moving forward, I will showcase actual instances where ChatGPT has been utilized in code review process. So before I give you several examples of the code review by ChatGPT, so let us make sure one question. So what is a prompt? So first, I dive into the ChatGPT or generative AI area in the field. So soon I see what is the prompt. So the prompt is command text given to ChatGPT. That's it. That's very simple. Here are some examples of the prompt for the code review. So before we dive into actual examples, it might be wise to role-play ChatGPT with the role it's about to perform. For instance, by stating, you are code reviewer before issuing any prompts. That's just a small tip, but very important. So this kind of role play, not limited to this kind of code reviews, can be a very powerful method in deploying ChatGPT, essentially assigning roles to the AI to enhance its performance. So let's review some real-life scenarios. The first three examples relate to refactoring, particularly the use of guard clauses to rewrite logic. So guard clause is a technique where a method or function exits early in the block, in the code, if certain conditions are not met. The first example concerns refactoring if and else statement using guard clauses. In my experience with over 3,000 code reviews, I've often found that if-else statement can usually be rewritten without else clause. So we can convert if-else logic to the just only simple if. That's a very surprising, right? But after 3,000 merge requests, I found that. But this is kind of the computer science text kind of thing, which called the guard clause. That's just a established technique. So typical cases look like the one on the left in the slide. It might work fine in terms of input and output processing, but it's quite hard to think about opening it up to the world as open source or for a reviewer like me to trace the logic. As you can see in the slide, well, if and else and if and else, but the logic is correct. As our work, it's correct. But this is where ChatGPT comes in. We prompt it, refactor the following code using guard clauses, and it returns, ChatGPT returns a refactored version as seen on the right. The developer's intention was to return just only true or false as a method type hint of Boolean suggest. So Boolean, so true or false, just return. So the developer wants to just return a true and a false. But he writes a very long sentence. But ChatGPT understands the logic and refactor just a simple, this kind of the the compact one. The developer refactor code is indeed much clearer for reviewer like me or like us to understand. And then further prompting ChatGPT to refactor the following code again. So this is transformed a logic written with if-else into just a single line. Starting from the if-else, 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 ChatGPT, we give he or her a prompt, refactor this code, and then ChatGPT rewrite the code, just only the if, only the single if statement, and return true or false. And then again, I asked ChatGPT to refactor this code, and then ChatGPT, give me the response with just only the single returns statement. So even from this, the benefit of using ChatGPT for refactoring becomes clear. Okay, so that's the first example. The second example furthers the use of guard process in refactoring. When prompted with refactor the following code, it replaced the parts highlighted in red with the sections in green at the bottom, and even provided an explanation for refactored code. So this case simplifies 3 if statements into just one, making it vastly simpler for the reader like me, like us. The third example also deals with refactoring using guard process. So this code already employs guard process to exit logic under certain conditions, but still a kind of a complicated. But it uses if-else statement, particularly the else part. For a reviewer like me, having both if and else makes it harder to understand. I need to, read a whole logic, right, as a human reviewer. So it's harder to understand what the intended action are under different conditions. So a simple prompt to ChatGPT to refactor tends to return a code broken down into some detailed functions. So prompting us to guide it further to refactor using guard process without splitting the code. So this is one of the tips. So if we ask ChatGPT to refactor this code, ChatGPT, this is kind of a tendency. ChatGPT tends to return some chunked code, right? So this is one tip, refactor using guard process without splitting the code. That's important. As a result, simplifies the code by removing else, leaving a more straightforward if statement. As a code reviewer, that is, someone who reads the code, it becomes clear, obviously, what the method ultimately wanted to achieve after guard process. So such is the capability of ChatGPT in refactoring. So I gave you the 3 examples. So we could understand how ChatGPT is powerful. So moving away from refactoring if-else logic to guard cross, the 4th example is about refactoring test code. The term BDD in the slide title stands for behavior-driven development. So we test our web application, a cloud accelerator, with the test codes written in natural language descriptions in BDD. So for instance, we write test codes in English, such as navigating the specified URL on a website login page, entering username and a password, and clicking a login button. So that's the BDD testing scenario. We can write the testing case with the natural English language. So upon reviewing these test scenarios written by my team member, we will notice, actually I noticed, the parts highlighted in yellow are just different keywords. This is very small letters, but if you can take a look at carefully, the portion of the test case is very similar. Actually, almost the same. Actually, exactly the same. Just switching the keywords, right? So we will notice the parts highlighted in yellow are just different keywords, as I said. Otherwise, they repeat the same scenario. This is right, actually. But while copy-paste is easy for the developer and not incorrect for humans, it works. But going through the scenario, readers like me, as a code reviewer, or developers amongst our team, will realize by second or third iteration that they are all the same, as I said. So when ChatGPT is prompted to refactor, it extracts and lists the keywords, consolidating them into single test scenario. So this approach to scenario writing is syntactically correct for BDD. So operating just like the original copy-pasted test scenarios. So the behavior and the intention and action is exactly the same. So it shows that ChatGPT understands and is knowledgeable about the syntax and the structure of BDD test scenarios. So the fifth example is about rewriting logic using data structures. So when encountering match case statement in Python or switch statement in other languages like a PHP, so we can use in a PHP the switch statement. So prompting ChatGPT with refactor leads to the suggestion of representing the switch statement logic with a key value data structure. So this case reminded me of a Google interview, very impactful. Actually, the developer started to write the code with the switch statement, but ChatGPT converted from the logic to the data structure without any using if-else statement or switch statement. So objective code complexity evaluation tool that I use have shown that complexity metrics decreased from 258 to 216 in this instance. So the final case study involves modernizing jQuery-based JavaScript code using only vanilla, that is, native JavaScript. So jQuery was once ubiquitous, as we know, but now all functionalities of jQuery offered are integrated into vanilla JavaScript, rendering jQuery things of the past. In the open source Drupal community, our source codes using jQuery are all marked as obsolete with a resolution that all JavaScript utilizing jQuery will be phased out. So we need to update our code in the Cloud Australia project as well. So on the right is original code using jQuery, and on the left is modernized version by ChatGPT. In our project, we have nearly 30 JavaScript files using jQuery, so we created a simple converter that invokes the ChatGPT API. So this allowed ChatGPT to carry out the refactoring and automatically produce vanilla JavaScript code. Our team's human engineers then took this as a basis for testing and further refinement. So compared to manually refactoring 30 files one by one, we believe that this approach has prepared a functional code base and enhanced productivity during code reviewing. So as a result, looking back on these examples, we adopted ChatGPT review results in 55 out of 341 merge requests from April to December last year. So that's an application to 60% of all code reviews by ChatGPT, which led to significant reduction in operational hours. So our verified results have shown that reviews using ChatGPT contribute greatly to productivity enhancement. However, the process of inputting prompts and sharing review comments with team members over Slack remains manual. So the example that I show you today is all the manual process. I open the browser and then type the prompt, refactor the foreign code, and then copy and paste the patch from the developers patch. So it happened in all the my local browser. That's a manual process, right? So therefore, as a next step, we have decided to integrate this process into GitLab CI pipeline. So and now I will introduce our initiative titled in Docomo, AI-driven platform engineering, which focuses on integrating ChatGPT into GitOps. So first, let's discuss the service development life cycle. So here is the typical service development life cycle, starting from service design, systems design, implementation, build, unit test, and deploy, acceptance test, release, and monitor. So we will incorporate it into our unit testing for code review by ChatGPT to automate the process. So specifically, in our GitLab CI pipeline, as shown on the bottom left, very small, sorry, we automatically execute tests in a parallel for each module of Cloud Orchestrator by Drupal, like AWS module, Kubernetes module, and OpenStack module. So we have integrated ChatGPT review process as one of the jobs within GitLab CI pipeline. So through ChatGPT API, we prompt ChatGPT with our code review policies and retrieve actual review results. The results returned from ChatGPT are displayed on the GitLab Output Console screen on the browser. So the feedback is presented in a numbered list, 1, 2, 3, dealing which parts of the code violated policies that I showed the previous slide. So I came up with my coding policy, the review policy, and then we are giving the documented policy to the ChatGPT over the API, and then ChatGPT correct the code, revise the code, and then suggest with the numbered list like this. And then it happened in the browser by GitLab CI pipeline. So the developer can see this review result one by one. So looking forward, we have developed a system to measure the effectiveness of ChatGPT's review result and to gather feedback on whether developers are actually incorporating these suggestions or satisfied with the code review results. So we have launched and are now operating a feedback measuring site integrated with the Slack, where developers can rate usefulness of ChatGPT's review result using a star rating system, like the Amazon, the review comment, right? So after ChatGPT finished the code review, ChatGPT automates to send a message to the Slack with the star rating system, and then we catch the developers' feedback, and then show the status of the how developer satisfied and how developer merged into the his revised code. So furthermore, we aim to expand application of ChatGPT beyond code reviews within the software development cycle. We are looking to implement an automated testing and development process using ChatGPT. So, but one more thing, GPT code reviewer. So we have developed a GPT code reviewer for a Drupal module at the front end to call the backend component to interact ChatGPT API. So note that this is just only the front end by using the Drupal. And then we need to have the backend component, that's the Docker image, which includes all the logic to communicate to the API to ChatGPT. But we publish the GPT code reviewer at the front end. So here are the list of the past code reviews we can track. And then we want to initiate a new code review by ChatGPT. We can simply copy and paste the merge request URL from Drupal.org, and this site will automatically analyze the Git repository URL and branch base commit ID, the latest commit ID, to give these information to our backend component. And after clicking Save button, the code review result by ChatGPT is shown in this slide, like GitLab CI output console. So this module can provide the code review capability by ChatGPT without using GitLab CI pipeline. So this front end can show the output from the ChatGPT like GitLab CI console, but we don't have to use the GitLab CI pipeline. So we published this module at GPT Code Reviewer. So if you are interested in, please visit our GPT Code Reviewer project page on Drupal.org. But again, note that we need to have the backend component. So please contact me if you are highly interested in to collaborate with this kind of the code review process and system. Okay, so that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. This is my LinkedIn QR code. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
So is the module can pull in any, the Drupal module that you just showed, does it pull in any repository and can do the code review on it?
Oh, yes. Actually, not only the Drupal, Drupal.org's Git repository URL, that we can use the GitHub or GitLab URL, any Git URL. But we are not supporting the private repository because we need to have the credential. But maybe it's easy to have such kind of capability. Any other question?
I guess I'll ask another one. Since you use ChatGPT, potentially there can be one can use another backend like Codium.
Yes, actually, well, in Docomo, so I'm working at the research and development R&D section, and then actual, Docomo's, headquarters interested in this activity, and then they are using the Azure OpenAI. So we evolved our source code base to follow up the other generative AI APIs. Actually, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and then Azure OpenAI is almost the same. But if we dive into the similar API, but still in the Azure field, we need to have to do something more. Yeah. But basically, we can switch the generative AI and as an engine, as a backend service. Any other questions?
You mentioned that 16% passed. So is the other 74% were they close or just bad? The other 74% didn't pass. Was that just?
Oh, that's a good question. So we during from the April through the December, we have the 341 margin request, and the 60% that we use the ChatGPT, right? Then, in the 341 merge request, we have the various pattern of the patches, right? So some, patch will be, ChatGPT can refactor the appropriate use case kind of thing, like a refactor. So some patch doesn't have any logic. Yeah.
I'm curious about how you actually go about wiring that into your CI. Do you have a runner that's got the code for doing the communication with?
Right. Actually, we built the Docker image, including the some Python script to interact to the ChatGPT API. So basically, the developer push the code into the and then create the merge request in the GitLab CI, and then it triggers the pipeline, right? And then pipeline uses our Docker image, Docker container, to interact the backend system. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
So is that what you were talking about needing to set up the back end for running the automated testing?
Yes.
So you need to set up that.
Yes. Actually, automated test system is built in GitLab CI. So we can define some the tasks in to test in each module, right? In parallel. So one of the tasks could be the ChatGPT code review. So we can run the Drupal module test in parallel by using the GitLab CI. And then we can add code review process in parallel, Like here, very small, sorry, the ChatGPT review. So if we double click this one, we can see the ChatGPT's code review result. So we built into the GitLab CI.
So can we, I guess we could see an example of that on the Cloud Orchestrator project. You should have your GitLab CI config there, should
Yes, yes,
Is that right?
yes. Any other question? Okay, so thank you so much for listening.